Alright, we open up episode 2. She's at work but also doing poetry. But I see they bringing it back to when she first met Sean, the dude that she's basically in a turmoil relationship with, that she's running away from. We see how they first got introduced, which coincidentally she runs into Nate, who was also at Neptune, where she used to work at and do a poetry at, who was really interested in her but ignored because she wanted Sean. And he turns out to be a structural engineer who's opening firms in different cities and living very comfortably. Daughter could watch Frozen in the truck. Daughter doesn't like Frozen because she's scared of the ice creature, but if she wanted to, she could have watched Frozen in that truck because he's doing good. And you're homeless in the ferry station, in denial. The man is trying to help you and you're still trying to be in denial. You can't have no pride in your position, baby girl. So apparently Sean is the father because he got a lawyer now. He wants full custody, which honestly, I get her love for Maddie and she wants to be there for Maddie, but you got Maddie sleeping at a ferry station because of your pride and your fear for your life. But if he's willing, see, this is the predicament that this show is in is so fragile, because it's like, what if you do let him keep her and he abuses her because he's a psychopathic drunk? Sean takes her to court. They have their deposition. The commissioner asks what she's gonna do. All of her starting to hit her like a ton of bricks that, hey, I don't have a plan or nothing. She loses custody temporary for a week. They're giving her 7 days. She has no job. She's staying in a DV shelter and she wrecked her car. And y'all give this woman 7 days to come up with a plan to get her child back. This is what the legal system does. She was actually able to move into the DV center, shelter, the DV shelter, where she runs across this young lady named Danielle who brings her My Little Pony toys because Maddie doesn't want to be there. Maddie wants to go home, like any child would. I want to go home. You've been having me on the floors of ferry stations, sleeping in the car. I don't even care if we in this apartment that's decent. It's not my home. Maddie's crying. Maddie's crying. Danielle comes from the other side, brings her My Little Pony toys. She continues, then goes to court. Loses custody, of course. Once she loses custody, she comes back to the shelter. Danielle picks her up. While she's down, they go kidnap the dog of the lady who didn't pay her for her services. They call the lady. She gets her emotions out on the lady. You lost your dog for 5 minutes. I lost my child. Gives the dog back to the lady. The lady actually pays the woman. She gets her money. She leaves to go get her money, comes back to the shelter. Danielle left. Danielle gave her all the advice on what to do, how you need to do it. You need to stand up for yourself. He did you wrong. And then she went right back to her abusive husband. Because I knew he was a bullshit father whenever you have glass in your daughter's hair from throwing a bowl at your wife, and you take custody of the child from that woman who's trying to protect the child from you. So I knew you was a piece of shit ass parent too. I wasn't the greatest husband in the world, but the one thing my wife can tell you, when it comes to the kids, I'm the shit. I'm the shit as a parent. I wasn't a good husband at all. There's a lot of things I could have worked on, but parenting, I never played with my kids. And I never played with her with those kids. That's the one thing we always got along with, is the parenting side. We wasn't good for each other, but as parents, we hold each other down. If you knew you was well, he is an abuser, so he don't care. The point he is trying to, from taking her, is to hurt that woman. But yeah, you took that. I'm thinking he taking this little girl and he about to really care for his little girl. You dropping it off to your mama house who's, you dropping your little girl off to your mama house who's feeding her cough syrup to put her to sleep. This is what you took your child from. You took your child from a bad situation and put her in a worse situation?